welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be unboxing the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck and guidebook for the modern reader by Claire Goodchild. I'm also going to share some thoughts and bits and pieces about the deck. So in order to be fully transparent, I actually won this deck in a competition on Claire's Instagram. I have been looking at this deck for a while. When I was looking at getting a new tarot deck, it was definitely at the top of the list. If you watched my other tarot deck unboxing, then you know that I actually went with the 5-cent tarot deck. So for a little bit of context and history of this deck, it's actually tricky to get hold of this particular one in the UK. Originally the deck was an indie deck, but then it got picked up by Abrams Books and was produced for the mass market. In the UK, it was repackaged as the Modern Tarot Reader. I've put an image on the screen so you know exactly what it looks like. So this different version was available in the UK. The deck itself is exactly the same, but it's the box and the guidebook that have been redesigned. I really prefer this version that I have here. I think it suits the style and the vibe of the deck a lot more, so I didn't want to get the UK version. Unfortunately, this original version was out of stock when I was looking at decks and I couldn't find it anywhere else. Another thing I want to mention that I think it's important to know is that when the deck was originally mass produced, a lot of reviews said that the cardstock that had been used was really bad. It was almost like paper, so people were really unhappy with that aspect of the deck. However, all the decks that have now been produced are on a much better cardstock. So if you do read a review about the deck having super thin cardstock, then know that this issue has actually now been resolved. I actually have another deck by Claire Goodchild, Arcana of Astrology Oracle deck, which I absolutely love. I do have a quick unboxing and walkthrough of it on my Instagram, but if you would like me to go through the deck in a bit more detail, then leave me a message in the comments and I will do that. Okay, right, let's get into the box. As you can see, it's beautifully designed with imagery from the deck itself all around the edges. On the back, the deck is described as an exquisite deck of tarot cards which feature vintage anatomical illustrations and delicate botanical drawings, which is what I really love about this deck. It's the human skeleton and anatomy paired with the pretty flowers. It's sort of macabre and beautiful, my favourite things. The guidebook is similar to the one in the Arcana of Astrology in that it's very substantial and is a lot bigger with more information than you would usually find in a guidebook that comes with a tarot deck. For example, if you compare it to the guidebook that comes with the 5-cent tarot, you can see the detail and effort that Claire has put into this book. As well as the information and interpretations of the major and minor arcana cards and their meanings, the guidebook has a little info about the history of tarot, the major and minor arcana, the links tarot has to numerology, astrology, the elements, and colour correspondence. Something else that I love that Claire has included, and something that I don't really think I've come across before in other tarot guidebooks, is a section of ways to use the tarot. So the obvious is just doing tarot spreads and interpreting the cards to give you answers to questions you ask. But like Claire covers, there is so much more to tarot than that. You can use the cards for meditation, dream interpretation, and my favourite, which is journaling with the tarot deck. So overall, this is a fantastic little guidebook. Whether you're new to tarot or not, I'm sure that you will find it useful. Onto the deck itself then, the back of the cards is a very simple design, a brown earthy colour that features 4 symbols, and those symbols actually refer to the suits that Claire has used for the minor arcana. Rather than the traditional wands, cups, swords and pentacles, she has actually replaced wands with rods, cups with elixirs, swords with blades and pentacles with coins. The edges of the cards also have the appearance of wear, so they look very antique and vintage, and I really love that little detail. The imagery used on all of the cards is just beautiful. The colour of the background looks like antique paper with that sort of tea stained colour. I mentioned the cardstock earlier, and this is more akin to stock used for playing cards, so it's quite durable for regular handling. When I first looked at this deck, I actually thought that they were smaller than the traditional size of a tarot deck, but if I compare them to my other decks, you can see that they are roughly the same size. I think it's just because the corners are a little bit rounder that it makes them appear a little bit smaller. but I'm really looking forward to using them and handling them and seeing how they work. We have illustrations for all of the major arcana cards representing the meaning behind them. If you are familiar with the tarot, then you'll be able to see the symbolism in the cards that reflect the meanings. If not, then it's something you will eventually become accustomed to with more practice. Looking at the minor arcana, you may notice that this is a pip deck. This means that all of the major arcana cards are fully illustrated according to their meaning, whereas the minor arcana cards just feature the suit symbols with the number featured relating to the number of the card. So again, it works sort of like a traditional playing card deck. If you think of 6 of spades or 5 of hearts, etc., they featured the amount of symbols that is related to the number of the card. Usually, I would prefer a fully illustrated deck with the minor arcana cards also illustrated to reflect their meaning. However, I think I can forgive this deck just because it is so beautiful and I really do love it. It does mean that for beginner readers, you probably need to refer to the guidebook regularly for your readings, just to learn the meanings, and an intuitive interpretation may be a little bit more difficult. Overall, I am so happy I have this deck. I feel like I was meant to have this deck because, like I said at the beginning, I couldn't find it in stock online, so to win it in a giveaway, it just feels like it was meant to be, and I'm really excited to be working with it. So I feel like I've gushed a lot about this deck, so there is one ever so small thing that I personally think would be better, and this goes for the Arcana of Astrology deck too. I would have loved the deck itself to have had a smaller box that it could be kept in. I love the packaging it comes in and the guidebook, but for the deck to have its own box would just make it so much easier to take out with me and just for general ease of using, if that makes sense. Saying that, I have seen some really cute tarot pouches online that would be perfect to keep this deck in, so it's probably a good excuse to get one of those. Before finishing the video, I just wanted to say a little bit more about the creator of the deck, so Claire Goodchild. She's also known as @BlackandTheMoon on social media. Her company and website is also known as Black and the Moon. I'll put all the links below so that you can check her out. As I mentioned, as well as this tarot deck, she has also created an oracle deck, the Arcana of Astrology, and another oracle deck that I am desperate to add to my collection called Memento Mori, which is designed in a similar way to this tarot deck, so it's visually beautiful, and I imagine that both decks would work beautifully together. Okay, thanks for watching guys. I hope you found this video useful. Maybe you're looking for a new tarot deck or just wanted some more information on this deck in particular, but I do hope it helped. Let me know what you think of this deck. Do you love it as much as I do? If you have any questions about it or tarot itself, then do leave me a note in the comments and I will try my best to answer. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.